The Spider-Man webs literally make no sense. Because listen, okay? Here's my analogy. Here's Spider-Man, right? And also, it's different between different Spider-Mans. I just watched the Tobey Maguire one for the first time, just the first one. His web is very much different from, like, let's say Tom Holland's. Like, Tobey Maguire's just seems so much stronger. Like, in that scene where he was holding up MJ and also all the kids inside that cart crane thing. Like, and it was just one web, and he was holding up all that weight. That must have been over, like, a ton. He was just able to just hold it on one web. But then in that one scene in Spider-Man, like, when the fairy gets cut in half, the Tom Holland one, I think it was Homecoming, then, like, and he, like, does the thing, like, his webs always get cut in half. And it happens all the time. Like, his always get cut in half. And it doesn't look very strong. But Tobey Maguire's was very, very strong. There's also very different consistency between. Okay, I know it might be just because it comes out of him, or maybe just the CGI was different because it was 2022. I mean, 2002, and it was, like, the effects in CGI wasn't as good. But at the same time, I do think that there's a difference between their webbings because they've shown that Tobey Maguire's is kind of retractable, like in that one scene where he's upside down and then he like slowly goes down and then he goes back up. Then they show that his is retractable, which makes sense because the Spider-Man web would have to be retractable for them to actually swing around the city like they show and get from building to building that are not the same height. And they never really talk about this, but I'm pretty sure Tobey Maguire's is retractable, but I've never seen any other proof from any of the other Spider-Mans that that their web is retractable. So here's why it would have to be rubber, or it would have to retract, but it still doesn't always make sense. Here, let me give an analogy. So he shoots his web to this very conveniently placed structure. Boom! Notice how it's too short? Because the angles don't work out if it's too high. And usually it's not just like a small difference like this. Like usually it's like a very large difference. I just can't really show it in frame. But like it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't work if it's vice versa as well. Because imagine point A, point B. He shoots it right here, right? And this point is like way higher. So it would have to be rubber for him to pull himself up, like use it as like a rubber band almost. If it was like a rubber band, then he could like pull himself up and use that momentum to get whatever. But then the web would be curved because you would see the momentum that he used to pull himself up, but they never do. They always show it straight, which means it would have to be like this. And he would always smack into it. So that's why either the webs have to be retractable or they're very rubberized. Even if they're rubber, then it wouldn't work for all structures. It would only really work if you're going to a higher one, but if you're going like this way, it wouldn't work. So it would have to retract more. Huh? So yeah, it wouldn't work if it was a lower structure, only if it was a higher structure, and they don't even use that strategy of pulling themselves up, or the rubber would be turned. So that's why I think it has to be retractable, because it doesn't make any sense if it's not. But they've never shown any sort of proof that it's retractable aside from Tobey Maguire.